that we're dialing in our messaging, that we're finding our right leads, that we're closing those leads. And I'm super excited to be talking today about art representation. It is one of the most amazing income streams that we literally can put on rinse and repeat after we have the business system built. So we're going to be talking about how to unleash the power of art representation. Don't you wish it was just as easy as like sending and shipping your artwork to lots of galleries and the sales would just come rolling in? You know that working in art representation, whether you're trying to get into art licensing or you're trying to put more art galleries on your list of like, check, I have another art gallery representing me, or check, I have another art licensing company representing me. It's super sweet, but there is a system that we can build. Everything that we do in our art businesses can be put into a system so that we can start putting it on rinse and repeat. So today we're going to be talking about representation. What does that mean? How do we need to think about art representation, getting the permission from someone else to sell our artwork? How do we do that? And we're going to start moving some of those barriers out of the way. So I want you to grab a pen, paper, grab a drink, like find that place in your home or your studio that's comfortable and really the best place for learning, because we are going to dig on in. Hey, everybody. Oh my goodness. Don't you wish that art representation was just as easy as kind of throwing your artwork out there and like hoping that someone will see it, hoping that someone will call you up or text you or send you a message and say, we would love for you to ship your artwork to us so that we can try to sell it for you. I absolutely love art representation. All of the galleries and the art licensing agents who are out there showing my artwork to the world and sending me what I love. Who doesn't love residual income? Who doesn't love what we call that passive income, where we do all the work up front in order to acquire people who are willing to sell our artwork for us. And then we like just sit back and we don't do anything else. We're going to stop right here. That doesn't exist. Okay. That is a false belief that many artists are like, you know what? I'm just going to find someone else who is super excited to sell my artwork for me, and I don't need to do anything. The reality is when we're running our businesses and we're choosing to use art representation as one of our income streams, we still have to operate like a business owner, and we still have to be involved and have a system that allows for us to help those people who are representing us actually sell more artwork. So what we're going to do today is we're going to unleash the power of art representation. It is an amazing income stream. It is one that when you get it working, it has the power to make you thousands upon thousands of dollars. I know that I'm talking today to artists who are already making six figures, selling their art through galleries, through art shows, and through art licensing. And you're like, you know what? I want to be able to find more galleries and more representation. So we're going to be talking about the process and the business system that you need in order to find art representation. Here's the good news. Okay, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on the business system because it's the same system we use, whether we want to sell our artwork on our own, whether we want to sell it in art shows, whether we want to sell it in galleries, or we want to start selling it in art licensing. It's the same system. If you've been here for a while, you know this. It's called the C check. We have to have a container. We have to collect leads. We have to connect with our leads, and we have to close our leads. We're going to show you on what we call a business timeline, which is once you make your decision to when you actually get the paycheck, what happens when we're in art representation and when we're looking for art representation. This is the starting point for being able to build our business systems. And I'm so excited to let you guys know that on Monday, that is next Monday. It's actually a holiday. It's June 19th. It's called Juneteenth, right? And many of you will have that day off. It's a perfect day to really focus in on your art business. So if you'd like to join us for training on how to break into the art licensing market, I'm going to be giving you my playbook, the whole entire playbook of how to navigate the art licensing market, right? So once you find your art licensing agents, how you need to navigate that market. We're also going to spend an hour in training on like, what do you need? What business systems do you need to actually close your sales? Meaning having art licensing agents say, yes, absolutely. I want to represent you. I want you to send me your artwork so that I can sell it to the world. Okay, so if that's something you're interested in, just drop below, say me, art licensing. And I also want to let you know you can go ahead and grab that link to register right here in the description. It's launch.karenauha.com/ALM. Okay, so if that's something you're interested, Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, I know someone's like, well, I'm busy during that time. Everything, as always, is available in replay. Okay, so we know that artists who are busy with their art businesses, who are busy with work-life balance, you might not be available on Monday at 1 p.m. Okay, that's when I'm going to be live providing this training so that you can ask me questions, but you can always watch and replay. Okay, so let's dig into art representation in general. Okay, so art representation in general is anytime you're asking someone else to sell your artwork for you. Okay, you actually are lengthening your path to the sale. You're actually extending the amount of time it takes to actually get the money and get the check in your pocket. Okay, but art representation, having a business that's balanced with residual and passive income, as well as having that art representation, someone else who is looking out for your clients for you, is fabulous. So let's talk about this. Let's get you what you need to understand how to get more art representation, and then what it looks like and how it actually hits your bottom line. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a mirror board, and we're going to just look at art representation in general, and we're going to talk about it. Here's art representation. Remember, this can be anything from when you're working with a gallery, when you're working with art licensing agents, or even when you send your artwork off into an art competition. Here, sorry. Let me pop over here and move this so you can see this. Sorry. Oh, there we go. It's being kind of tricky, sticky. All right. So art representation really starts with a decision. So when you take a look over on the left-hand side, as business owners, we have to make a decision whether art representation is for us. Is this a method? It's more of a passive method. And I want to pop back over here for a second, because there is a misconception about art representation, including galleries and art licensing. There's a misconception that it's the easiest way to sell our artwork because someone else is selling it for us, right? I'm going to tell you that art representation, although it has huge benefits and it gives you expertise in the marketplace, and you have other eyeballs looking for clients for you, it is more difficult than just trying to find the person who's going to put your artwork on the wall for you, okay, or with you, right? So I want to talk about that. It still includes selling. If you're coming into art representation, you're like, oh, I won't ever have to sell my artwork. You actually have to sell your artwork to the business that you're asking permission from. Okay. So if you are thinking, oh, art representation means I don't ever have to talk to anybody, I don't have to sell anyone, then that's the first shift in reframe that I want to give to you. When we're working in art representation, we're actually selling a business. We're asking them to sell our artwork for us. We're asking them for permission to sell our artwork where they display their artwork, where they display art. Okay. So it's the same process. We have to collect our leads. We have to know who they are, and we have to connect with them. And when we close them, we're not getting the paycheck. We're actually just getting the permission to work with them. Okay, so let's take a look at this once again, and I want to walk you through what it looks like. We have to make a decision if art representation is the way that we want to sell our artwork. That means we could be going to a gallery, or we could be looking for art representation with art licensing. Remember, on Monday, we're going to be really digging into what that looks like. So when we make the decision to sell our artwork and we make a decision to use art representation, there is this timeline and this process we have to build before we get a paycheck. Okay, so when we choose art representation, we're choosing to work in both business to business as well as business consumer. Okay, so I know that working in the business world, you've heard business to business, right? That's when two businesses work together to and form a relationship, versus business to consumer is when a business works with the person who's actually going to use your product. Okay, that's your art lover. That's the person who's going to actually put your piece of artwork in their favorite space. So when you make the choice to get art representation, you have to understand the sales process of asking someone to sell your artwork for you. You need to, we're going to break this all down. We're going to talk today about what the business system you're going to be using to find more galleries. Then you come to this stopping point after you get your close here, after someone says, after someone says yes, like an art licensing agent or an art gallery says, yes, we're going to sell your artwork for you. You now just have permission to sell your artwork with that representation. And then you're relying on your art rep to actually close the sale and talk to the end consumer. Again, a really wonderful income stream when you have it on rinse and repeat. But this whole entire process here is a sales process. And you need to, and if this is the only reason you're picking art representation is because you're like, I'm not good at sales, I'm going to tell you that's the first reframe we need to give you, that this whole entire process, selling business to business, has more complexities than just selling your artwork on your own. So let's talk a little bit about what it means to be asking someone to represent your artwork for you and what you need to have in your business in order to be successful here. Everything starts with brand awareness content. If you're asking someone else to sell your artwork for you, you need to be able to, number one, show up as a professional artist. You need to show up as a selling artist. When your gallery or your art licensing agent is checking you out, they're going to do their research. They're not going to just bring someone into their world without making sure that they're professional, not making sure that they actually do sell their artwork. If you have amazing artwork, but you've never sold it, that's a huge red flag to a business. They don't want to invest in another business who doesn't pull their weight and doesn't do the bare minimum of what they should be doing. We also need to make sure that when we're in our brand awareness content, that we are showing that we understand the basics of business. They're going to be checking out your website. They're going to be checking out your social media. So you better make sure that all that content inside of your website and your social media aligns with and shows them quickly that you're a professional artist who's serious about selling their artwork and you understand the basics of business. When you're working through this whole entire process, instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping that someone will put your artwork in their gallery or hoping that an art licensing agent trips over your artwork somewhere, you need to reframe that and start picking your team. This is about lead generation. We still need to be collecting our leads. Our leads are now art galleries. Our leads are now art licensing agents. We're taking the time to research them and get to know them, because eventually you're going to need to have an interview with them. And you can really flip the script when, instead of just hoping someone will find you, when you actually start picking your team and you have an interview where they get to know more about you and you get to know more about them, you're going to have a higher likelihood of having them close and saying, yes, we would absolutely love to have you as part of our team because you're an artist who is professional and highly successful. And we know that we can work with you to close more of your sales with you and for you. So remember, your close here is not actually about getting money in your pocket. It's just about getting permission to sell your art at that gallery or with that art licensing agent. So you're right here. Okay. So this is the end point. Then you have to patiently wait for that business to close your sales for you. And that is why, if you're not doing your homework at the beginning, you can end up with vanity galleries, or you can end up with a gallery who just needs to fill some art space, but they already have a mini team of artists that they consistently sell, and they're not going to present your artwork to the clients who come into their building or into their universe. So that's why it's so important to spend time here and learn the sales process for finding more representation. So this is super exciting stuff. And it all starts right here, guys. It all starts with a decision. You can decide to look for representation. Right? That's one option. You can decide to start on the longer path and have the selling process to find more and more galleries to represent you. Or you can, this is my preferred method, okay, right here. Or you can just skip the business of business part and go straight to business consumer. Okay. I absolutely love each and every one of my art licensing agents and my business galleries. And I'm gonna, as we kind of start closing down this training, I want to share with you just one of the things that, oh my gosh, probably a good 6 or 7 years ago now, when I was running art shows, when I was working with the Kansas City Plaza and was really working with them to learn how to run a an art show that brought in millions of people in one weekend. I heard a presentation on, like, hey, how do you secure a booth at a show like the Kansas City or Laguna Beach or any of the big events that bring through millions of people on a week or a weekend and close millions of dollars in art sales in just that one week? And the presentation was about being a good egg. So as I listened to the presentation, this applies to whatever income stream you choose, whether you're choosing art representation, whether you're choosing art licensing, trying to get into a really high level show, trying to get more gallery representation, or even trying to sell your artwork on your own. We have to be a good egg. Okay. If you show up and you're asking for someone else to sell your artwork for you, and you're not showing up professional, you're just like, I'm here, my artwork is amazing, so just have at it. I have no more responsibility than just being here and creating artwork. Your likelihood of creating a team and a relationship with an art gallery starts tanking. Okay. And art licensing agents are even more discriminatory. They do not want to work with hobby artists, they want to work with professional artists. When you are running a show, a gallery, a huge multi-million dollar business, you don't want to have a drag on your process with artists who are not professional, okay? Who do not understand that they have a responsibility to have a business system that allows for your art representation to easily sell your artwork. We have to be a good egg. If you're a spoiled egg, nobody wants to crack open an egg and then be hit with the smell of a bad egg. Okay. So it was just this really interesting. Every time I think about when I'm working with a new client, when I'm working on getting representation with a new art licensing agent or a new gallery, or even just working with someone who wants to purchase one of my welcome pineapples or one of my floral paintings or one of my abstract paintings, I always am thinking, make sure that I'm showing up as a good egg. I want to make sure that I'm serving the people who are on my team. And I want to make sure that my client is getting exactly what they want. Okay. And when we make that reframe and we start building a business system, everything starts with brand awareness content. So if you're in the Art Boss report, if you're in the Art Boss formula, if you're an Art Boss business builder, we start out with the system you need in order to close more sales, in order to find more representation, in order to find more competitions that let you in, right? Everything starts with brand awareness content. If you'd like to learn more about how to make sure you're layering that brand awareness content everywhere in your website, in your social media, in your conversations, that's exactly what we would love to help you do. So just simply reach out to me, make sure we're friends, just pop over a friend request and put a message and say, I want brand awareness. I want to start with brand awareness. Whether you are brand new to selling your artwork or you've been selling your artwork for decades, but you're like, things aren't clicking and connecting like you'd like, you know that you have the ability to make an additional six figures and you're just like, I don't know I don't know what's working. We start with brand awareness. So super excited to be able to give you guys the opportunity to have a sneak peek, see behind the scenes of art licensing. That is one form of representation. It is the most difficult representation opportunities that we have as artists, mostly because the opportunities are really slim. It's about 1% of us who are going to be acquiring representation with art licensing agents. But you know what the difference is between someone who gets representation and someone who doesn't? It's simply about having someone guide you through the process and create the connections you need in order to get into that income stream. So if you're interested, you're like, you know what? Yeah, I would just love to see behind the scenes. It's totally worth the time it's going to take me just to see behind the scenes to make a decision and decide whether art representation through the art licensing market is something you want to pursue. So grab that link to register if you're interested. On Monday at 1 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be breaking apart the art licensing industry. You're going to walk away with my playbook of how to navigate that once you have an art licensing agent, how to navigate it. And we're also going to talk about where the art licensing agents hang out. Okay. There's only a few of them and they all hang out at the same places. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And I'm super excited for next Monday. That's just a couple days away. Make sure you grab one of those spots. It's going to happen in a private Zoom room. And I'm super excited. So we got you guys, you have a great rest of your day and have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you soon.